I remember all of us were outfitted with these little yellow booties that we put on over our shoes, and that was to protect us from water that was radioactive water, which was on the floor inside the facility. And then we went to the site. We all got on a bus, and the bus then went on site. We got out, went into the control room, and that was an eerie feeling. Here we were, Sunday morning, 4 days plus a couple of hours after the accident, at the very site where things had gone wrong.
Just outside the plant gates, Victor Stello and Roger Mattson were frantically reviewing the explosion theory. For 2 days, Stello had struggled to prove Mattson wrong. Finally, in the late afternoon, Victor Stello found the flaw in Mattson's calculations.
They were using the wrong formula. The hydrogen bubble was never a threat. What puzzles me is how many people, not just in the NRC, not just at 3 Mile Island, but people in the industry on the phone as technical consultants who were on site, how many of them dealt with that formula and nobody noticed.
Now scientists and engineers were correctly assessing the accident. But back on the island, there was still confusion.
When we reached the gate to turn back in our dosimeters that we had worn, the president reads his dosimeter, and it's reading high. It's 78 millirem. Oh my God, my heart stuff. What has happened here? Have I exposed president? And I read mine, which was an NRC-issued dosimeter. It read 0. Turns out the company had gotten so far behind on their ability to recharge dosimeters and hand out fresh dosimeters to everyone, they just noted what they read when they were turned in last and subtracted the difference. And the plant people didn't see any big deal, but momentarily there was mass confusion on the bus, and everyone was thinking they had received an unexpected exposure. And I think at that moment, President Carter began to lose a little confidence in not only the company but me.
By the time Carter left Harrisburg, he knew the danger was over. The president's visit would mark the end of the crisis. After 5 days of fear and anguish, residents felt safe enough to return to their homes. Although they were told that an insignificant amount of radiation had been released during the accident, they would be plagued by doubts for years to come. On the island, lead bricks were brought in to build a wall around the reactor. Slowly, the hydrogen was bled from the system. A month after the accident began, the Unit 2 reactor was finally shut down.
I don't see how you could ever erase the memories of frustration, of uncertainty, punctuated by moments of stark terror that attach to an incident like 3 Mile Island, and the eternal sense of relief and deliverance when that was finally over.
Three years later, a robotic camera was lowered into the core. It would be the first look at the full extent of the accident.
And I remember vividly seeing this videotape of a camera coming down into the top of the core, and you hear the voice of the mechanic who's lowering it saying 1 foot, 2 foot.
2 feet into the core. We're now approaching 3 feet.
And as he's going, as I'm watching the tape, my stomach churns more.
We are approaching 4 feet. We're now 5.
That's something.
And that recognition for the first time, 5 feet of the core was gone. That's when we really saw that the core had been severely damaged.
We had a meltdown at 3 Mile Island.
It was not the China syndrome, but we melted the core down. 50% of the core was destroyed or molten, and something on the order of 20 tons of uranium found its way by flowing in a molten state to the bottom head of the pressure vessel. That's a core meltdown. No question about it.
Following the accident, the nuclear power industry would introduce new safety and training standards. But nuclear power would not hold the promise it once did. Since 3 Mile Island, not a single nuclear power plant has been ordered in the United States.